In this set of videos I will show you how you can create simple web applications with ASP.NET technologies. Let's first have a look at this abbreviation ASP.NET. What does it mean? Okay, ASP comes from words active server pages, and basically what it means is Windows-based technology for creating web applications. It usually requires some Microsoft-based technologies to run it, but it can also be run in other technologies as well. And when we create applications with this technology or with some similar web application technology, it means that we are creating applications where the users of the application, that means persons like you and me, when we use this application, we don't need anything else but some web connection and a web browser that runs on some suitable device like a mobile phone or a computer. And then the role of the browser, that means this device what the user is using, the role of it is only to present some snapshots of the state of the server application. So we have two computers, the client computer and then the server computer. Client computer here in this picture is on the left, server computer on the right. And usually it goes so that the client computer will make some requests to the server computer, and then the server computer will respond to these requests. So it's this kind of a continuous loop that goes on between these two computers. And one very important concept that is relevant to this kind of computing is statelessness. State for an application is the combination of all the current values of variables or application objects. And this includes also those user interface controls that can be shown on the browser. So whatever is the state of the application, it depends on some variables that are apparent in the server side, but also some controls or their data that is being shown to the user. In desktop applications, the separation between the user interface and the actual application is a little bit different from the web applications, because the user interface and the application they run in the same computers, so they live in the same world, so to say, and they also can share the same memory space. That means the user interface is able to see the exactly same piece of memory as the actual application does. That means the user interface can see in real time what is the state of the different objects of the application. So there is no difficulties in this communication. But with web application, the situation is a bit different, because the user interface, the browser, and the application, they run in completely different computers. And that means they cannot continuously see each other. They are not aware of the state of each other all the time, but they only see some snapshots, like said, from their states. The idea is that after the web server has created a page, so it means rendered or constructed the page, and sends it to the browser, right after that the web server forgets about this process. So it forgets that it ever discussed with this browser computer. And this means that the next time the same client, same browser sends a page request to the same server, the server does not remember anything about the past. So the new page request is treated as a new one. So basically every time the web page is posted uh, or is created by the server and then sent back to the browser, the page must be recreated from scratch every time. Okay, let's look at again this same diagram about the client computer and the server. So we have the browser running in the client computer when we talk about web applications, and then we have some kind of an internet information server, or if we are using some other technology than ASP.NET, then it might be Apache or some other technology. But the idea is the same. The browser will send these requests that in the case of web applications are always following the HTTP protocol. And the request basically is a URL address, so it's the address of the page or the application, which constructs from the address of the computer or the URL, and then the specific page of the application. And then the server will respond to this request again by using the same protocol, this HTTP protocol, and sending a response, which is basically constructed from text type information. It may contain some HTML, CSS, or if it contains some data, it may also have some XML format in it. But this all is stateless, so it means there is no continuous communication between the two computers, but the communication only happens at some times. In more general, we talk about entire architectures. This means architecture where different logical components of the application are placed in logically separate processes. Okay, what this means in practice, when we talk about web applications, we typically may have three different tiers. That's why we talk about three-tier architectures when we deal with web applications. And these three tiers of a web application are called presentation tier, application tier, and the data server tier. We may also have some other names to this if you read the literature, but I use these names now. Presentation tier is basically the tier that takes care of everything that is being shown in the web browser. So the client computer, of course, is the environment where all this happens, but the data that constructs the image or this picture in the browser is basically HTML formatted, text, or it may also contain these other components like CSS and data and so on. So all this information that is used for creating the view for the user is the presentation tier. And then we have the application tier or the logic tier. And this is the so-called back-end part of the application. So it is some dynamic web content technology, which means some software that is able to construct the information that is being sent to the client computer. It also takes care of discussing with the third tier, which is the data management tier. And this basically is database or some other kind of storage method for the application data. So all these three parts of the application are placed in logically separate processes in the application, and between these separate processes there is just a handful or two handfuls of different kinds of calls that can be made, and other than that they really may operate quite independently from each other. And that's actually what happens between the client computer and the server computer. So in the presentation tier, we only see the view of the application that makes sense to the user or whoever is monitoring this presentation tier. But then all the like intelligence happens in the logic tier. All this combination of page request and the data that the user probably has given, and then the communication to the data tier. It's taken care of in the logic tier. And then again, when the database responds to the query made by the logic tier, then again the logic tier will put this retrieved data together and place it probably in some HTML page, and then send this constructed HTML information to the presentation tier. So this is the basic idea of three-tier architectures. And let's have a little bit more closer look at this most important tiers that are relevant for this project now. And first let's have a look at this logic tier or the application tier. So application tier consists of both the server technology and then the actual application, which is well built or programmed by using some development technology. The server, which is the computer, it takes care of connecting this service to the client interface. So it like in the previous picture you saw, it will construct the web page and then communicate it to the client side. And on the other side, it also receives the request from the server side, from the client side. Here are some technologies that are being used in the application tier, and this is quite up to date now. It's March 2020, and as you can see, the PHP is the most popular server-side programming language still. And the ASP.NET, which we use on this course, is the second at the moment. It's been so for quite a long time. So PHP is the major language in this business. And also you can see this division when we look at the server technologies. That means technology that's been used for implementing the server. So we see three technologies: Apache, Nginx, and Cloudflare Server, which are more frequently used than the Microsoft IIS, which is closely connected to the ASP.NET technologies. But anyway, so on this course we are dealing with ASP.NET, not because it's the most frequently used, but because it complies with the studies that we have made so far in the programming course. And again, the presentation tier, that's the technology that is used to show the application state to the user. So this means the browser and the computer and all this. But then of course, it's also contains the code that is being used for constructing the page. So it means the HTML and CSS and JavaScript and whatever data there might be. And then the user interface is the one that can take the user actions or record them, and then send those actions as a parameter to the server together with the new page request. So this is the basic idea of this client server technologies, and in more focused on this web application things.